For today's comma mini lesson, we're going to look at using commas between items in a series. And series is just another word basically for a list of items. So let's take a look at our rule. Use commas to separate 3 or more words, phrases, or clauses in a series. So let's start with an example where we just have single words. Series of words. The desert animals included camels, toads, gerbils, and insects. Notice I have the list, okay, the 3 or more words that we have included in pink. Camels, toads, gerbils, insects. We have a list of 3 or more items, so we need commas separating them. So comma after camels, comma after toads, and comma after gerbils. Okay, single words are easy. Let's take a look at series of phrases. The treasure map directed them over the dunes, into the oasis, and past the palm tree. So now you have phrases, again in pink, and we have 3 of them. Over the dunes is the first, into the oasis is the second one, past the palm tree is the third one. So because we have 3 or more, we need our commas. A comma after the word dunes, a comma after the word oasis. And our last one is when we have a series of clauses. The house was rather quiet before she arrived, before her luggage was piled up in the hall, and before her 3 poodles took over. Again, I have the clauses in pink for you. Before she arrived is the first clause. Before her luggage was piled up in the hall is the second clause, and before her 3 poodles took over is the third clause. So as you can see, comma after arrived and comma after hall. The series of phrases and the series of clauses are the ones that tend to trip students up just because they have multiple words to them. But imagine what the sentence would look like without those commas. The commas give us a pause, a break. So without those pauses, this sentence would read, the house was rather quiet before she arrived, before her luggage was piled up in the hall, and before her 3 poodles took over. Whew. That's a lot to say in one breath, and it kind of all slurs together. So the commas give us a break in thought so that we can pause and realize something else is coming, and also gives us a chance to breathe if we're reading the sentence out loud. Now, of course, this wouldn't be the English language without some exceptions to the rule. The first exception is when each item is joined to the next by a conjunction, then we don't need the commas. So let's take a look at the sentence right below that. For this journey, you will need 2 camels and a guide and a canteen. So we have a list of 3 items, 2 camels, a guide, a canteen. But notice that those conjunctions and, we have 2 of them. Because the conjunction is used each time, we do not use the comma. Now, most of your writing, you won't do this because it makes your sentences into run-ons, but occasionally writers will do this for style purposes, and so you may stumble across this. Remember, if they're combined with the conjunction, then no comma. And the second one, again, you won't see this very often, but when joined words are considered to be one item, no comma is necessary for the pair that are acting as one. So let's take a look at that sentence. Every table in the diner was set with a knife and fork, a cup and saucer, and salt and pepper. So we have groupings here. Knife and fork, they work together as a pair. Cup and saucer works together as a pair. Salt and pepper work together as a pair. So because those 2 items when put together equal a pair, we do not use a comma after the word knife, after the word cup, or after the word salt. Instead, we put the commas after the pairings, so knife and fork. Now we use the comma. You probably won't see this one very often, but it's good to be aware that this does exist. As always, if you have any questions about any of the comma rules, please let me know. Thanks!